A wonderful, a pleasant, a sincere good morning to all and sundry, to sundry and all, and welcome to this edition of Richard's Rant. Now, of course, as you know, regardless of the time of day that you're listening, I am wishing you that sentiment, that promise that happens, when you first wake up in the morning and everything is just ahead of you and life is good. Nothing bad has happened as yet. So, good morning and welcome. As usual, the news tends to stimulate so much thought because the news reports on humans like you, like me, but yet still, it doesn't seem to be humans, at least not like me. If they're like you, then comment towards our betterment. But I don't really get it. I don't get a lot of things. And that's how this rant, goes. Right now, a lot of people are thinking about money and finances. And as a person that was poor and then financially good and then poor no us, and now I don't know, maybe it's like a phoenix because that sounds sexy, or maybe because I'm still here, so it's going. Oh, I think that was the first sniffle of Richard's rant, unless the producer edits it out. And you know what? We should commemorate the occasion. We should. Because if you don't have things that make life worthwhile, because life is really, really uncomfortable. So if you don't have these little checkpoints of joy, these pockets of happiness along the way, makes it really difficult. Really, really difficult to survive it, really. That's the truth. So, starting off this one with what appealed to me the most in the newspaper, which was that the private sector actually jumped out itself and sponsoring a lot of the COVID vaccines. It's 46 companies to be exact, but of course, the 1% have to splashate the self, and everybody knew that the government asked Answer McCall as though it was only Answer McCall that they asked when it wasn't. So, but I'm happy that Answer McCall did contribute, and for the other 45 companies that did. Unfortunately, because life has ruffled my feathers, I also have a cynical point of view that if we are all dead, then how will they make money? Who would be their employees? Would they actually do things for themselves? So, spending a percentage of the millions that we make them is like maintenance. In a sense, it's like maintenance. But the positive side is that they could have said no, they could have declined. They could have even said that their profits are really low because of Corona and so forth. But they didn't. And we already know, being adults, that sometimes we do the right things for the wrong reasons and the wrong things for the right reasons. Sometimes all that matters is the bottom line. Speaking of the bottom line, well, that was the only good story. Let me just take a brief and go through the notes. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, that was the only good one. So, we're gonna get into the real news now. Well, not like FICNC3, but it came to my attention that a 35-year-old, meaning same age as me, is dead. His name is Vernon Ganga, and his friend, if any of my friends do this to me, I swear my spirit will destroy you. Not even by actually destruction, like I don't know, like you feel cold all the time, or paranoid. Things that you like to play with might stop working because it's cold and you're paranoid. His friend advised the newspaper that the deceased was an alcoholic and he would be frequenting in the bars and drunk and this and that. That is not our business. I don't know, Vernon. That's the light that you would paint me in. This is my friend. With friends like that, who the hell needs enemies? You're supposed to talk about the good things or nothing at all. You could talk about the drinking and thing with other friends. The papers didn't need to know that. That's one. Two, we don't even know if he was drunk at the time of his demise, but what we do know is that he was dead for a while and decomposing. He worked as a mechanic on a chicken farm close to his home, and on his way to work, he died. And that in itself is a tragedy. But then again, I guess it would have been more tragic if he died on his way home from work. It would have meant he spent his last day, working. Unless it's a job that really brings him great joy and satisfaction and spirit of well-being. So, I guess the only other thing worse than that would be dying on your way to vacation. So, yeah. So, in hindsight, that's not too bad, but he died on his way to work. And he was, they assumed that he got a seizure because he also suffered from seizures, which we know thanks to his friend. Now, the issue with this is that this dude was only 35 and he has his mental issues, which led him to drinking and seizures, and it ultimately killed him. And it's unknown if it is he really got that joy or satisfaction out of life. Especially in his last year of life, everything would be on lockdown. But what really hurt me personally is that the newspaper put a picture of the guy, and under the picture there's usually a title. His title was Alcoholic Vernon Ganga. That's what his life summed up to for the newspaper to print. This was somebody's son. Well, two somebodies, unless he was immaculately conceived. And this is all the newspaper could have found to print. And I'm starting to believe that is a issue with men. Because we also had Emil. Emil is his name? I didn't christen him. But the big businessman, I believe, is Emil Elias. This man hold a lot of positions in his personal and his private life, right? So, he had money. And one of the positions he held was in family planning on the board of directors. And this gentleman, or predator, was accused of sexual grooming. So for those who don't know, it's a very swanky term for you basically raising your future sexual partner. So you get a child and you groom them to love you and take care of your needs, but you only start having sex with them when they ripen or become legal. And that is called sexual grooming. So he is accused of sexual grooming of a 17-year-old girl, which he then penetrated in his office. The defense received the accused dossier of evidence that was not printed in the newspaper, but his name, his photo, and the age of his victim, and the area in which the crime took place, which was his office on Maraval Road, were printed. Now, many things wrong in this story for me personally. One, the amount of money this guy have, I don't see the need for him to sexually groom anybody. Even if he had to pay for sex, this man could get some pedigree pussy. So, alright. Two, let's say he's into children, which I doubt because the girl is 17, going on 18. So she ain't really children-y, but let's assume that he into children. Then he would have made the necessary arrangements, pay off who he needs to pay off and all that, and conduct himself in a proper way. But let's take all of that out of the equation, and he's a nastiness, and that is what he do, right? This guy's innocent until proven guilty. Why is his picture in the newspaper? Doesn't he have a family? Doesn't he have children? Doesn't he have maybe a wife, an outside woman, maybe an outside man? You never know these days. Doesn't he have people that care for him? What about his businesses? What about if he has shareholders, business partners, associates, clients? So we just have no regard for anybody because he accused of putting his dick where it's not supposed to be. We should pre-crucify him, pre-condemn him. And if it is, we find out, and I'm not victim blaming, I'm just stating the facts. If he is found innocent for whatever reason, what's the rest of his life like? What about his grandchildren? We think that this is okay? If we think that it's okay, then why did the newspaper then print 64-year-old Lahokita female on charge for possession of guns and ammunition? Why we didn't print Edna name? Why we didn't see Edna picture? And you know what Edna do? Edna bring in a barrel and they put the guns and the ammunition in the barrel. When they run it through the x-ray machine, they find some irregular looking objects. They call Edna. She come down the road. Edna is not the woman's real name. She come down the road. She must take she bus. How old she is? 64? No, she can't get free bus right yet. So she had to sit down in the maxi. She social distance. Or maybe she bigger the dance and she hire a TTRS. And she find herself on the port to open up the barrel and then say, oh my goodness, I didn't know how those guns got in there. But we don't know Edna's name. But they take the time to say Edna from Lahokita. Yeah. Not a woman, huh? A 64-year-old woman from Lahokita. Alright, papers. I hear you. I see you. And then the next thing that stood out to me is our Prime Minister. I didn't realize that he was 71 years old. And it made me wonder, what would I be doing when I'm 71 years old? I don't think I want to be working, not like that. Anyway, even if it is I run in this bitch. Have plenty cursing in this one. Because the truth is I'm really tired and annoyed about many, many things. But Richard's rant would not be Richard's therapy. I decided that when it went on the internet. But coming back on topic, this dude is 71 years old. It's like, shouldn't you be, I don't know, playing with some grandchildren and stuff? I mean, he looks good, he's sprightly, he does walk about and thing, but 71, dude. I don't want to be in all-day meetings and sitting down in parliament debating crap and doing a set of paperwork and all this nonsense and then jumping all over the place to get votes and making decisions for a nation. Well, the decisions of the nation might be fun, but 71. And then I was thinking, well, forget that he's 71. What kind of decisions he really making? Do we actually think that he could make decisions to benefit us, or he can make decisions to benefit other senior citizens? I'm not being ageist, but I'm just saying that would he understand things like cloud computing, social media, cisgender, the graphic content in music and on TV, the media? Would he understand these things? Would he understand mental health issues? Would he really get these things? Would he understand children now and what's important to children now? Not teenagers or adults, but the way that they are more technical as opposed to physical when he grew up. So, would he really be able to appreciate these things and make the decisions needed? Is he out of touch with reality? Is he still thinking that all you have to do is buckle down and go to school and get an education and then you'll be rich and successful like he is? Has he recognized how much the world has deviated from that? Does he recognize the social issues that we're experiencing now? I don't know. Because we don't have a lot of listeners of Richard Rant that are in his age group. And I wonder how many of you that do listen would go to your 71-year-old relative to help you make life choices right now, to help you decide what job to take or what to wear or what to post on TikTok. How many of you will do that or even know somebody that will? But this is our life, so how could he be in charge of it to such a great degree? But then what would the option be? The last election did have 13 or 18 political options, but everybody thought it was two. One of them was a young, very young candidate, and he's equally not qualified because he has no idea how to finesse himself through the labyrinth of folly that the politicians would have created before him. Nor does he have the resources or the influence to dismantle and completely reboot. So I feel as though I stumbled upon a problem here with no actual solution. especially since I don't vote. Well, as a lie, I have not voted because I don't like the options. I mean, I like some of the individual personalities. Auntie Cam Cam and I will drink a bottle of rum one day. Maybe this year. As I keep saying, we do have the same birthday. Maybe I will make it my way down to her office and, say, hey, darling. And we're going to be a little zest. As a matter of fact, I could see Auntie Cam Cam in a zest. She's the one that wear this ridiculous outfit to go in the Oval. That woman is vibes. That woman is vibes. And I is vibes. So we could hold our vibes. Would be epic, but no photos. Could have witnesses, but no photos. I don't know. Maybe we need to motivate more people to take on the mantle of leadership. Not many people look at societal or public service leadership roles as an option for a career, and maybe we need to channel some of that. Maybe if we didn't have a defense force that was full of miscreants that trying to get the bread butter and make as much money as possible, maybe if it had people that wanted to be there, maybe it would be better. Maybe we wouldn't have all these social issues that we do because people will be coming up with solutions. And maybe if we had more appropriate people in governance, we'd have something to look up to and to aspire to. But when we disrespect the office by putting someone incompetent or inept or out of touch, then you just disregard the entire office, which actually has a domino cascading negative social effect. Look at that. So if you know somebody, motivate them, motivate yourself, get the information. Maybe let's modify the way we think in that regard. Get some people in public that we can look up to. Get people in the ministry that would make you feel like you're doing business with the government, not like you're disturbing them from eating sauce. And I don't know, maybe elect a politician that you want to listen to, like Obama. You wanted to listen to him. You had to listen to Trump. You tolerated Bush. And I can't really use our examples because it was either Kamala or Rowley or Patrick. But all of them is the same. Except Cam Cam. Cam Cam, oh God. You know I have a little special thing for Auntie Cam Cam. She's the same but with a twist. Yeah? She's a little cherry on top for me. I'm telling you, if it is Mr. Bissessa's slip, I might try to slide in. Anyway, I noticed, to my great surprise, that the University of the West Indies needs money. Apparently, the government of the Caribbean actually give money, or some vent money, whatever the correct term is, to the University of the West Indies. And they account for 80% of the financing that the school needs. The student fees account for 20%. Now, this blew my mind because I'm not sure if the student fees include tuition, which in Trinidad and Barbados the government pays. But if it does not include tuition, exactly what are the costs that this government, what is the 80% exactly? And my next concern is that in a time of fucking corona, You find you seriously find that the correct thing to do right now is to put an article in the papers about how various Caribbean governments not giving you money. You find that's appropriate. If it is you teaching people to be leaders or to be business people, you have a stupid course, in my opinion, called entrepreneurship. You can't teach entrepreneurship. It's either you have it or you don't. That's like teaching beauty. You can't go to school to learn to be a model. You could learn to pose. But if you're ugly, unless that's what they're looking for, darling, it's not for you. It's not everything you could pick up from a book. So at the end of the day, right? You teaching all these people in leadership, and you can take the millions of dollars that the government is giving you and find a way to flip it. Why it is that article couldn't be the government didn't give you enough money, so this group of UE students business came together and they did finish the sentence. It's just a waste of time. And it's the same thing again, coming back to what it is we're looking up to. You're supposed to be the institution that creating leaders, and you can't even organize your own affairs. Meanwhile, Guardian Media Limited went and cut what it was that I said in the last rant, the expenses by 17%, although the advertising revenue went down by 8%, and they make profits at okay. And I believe Guardian Media Limited was one of the 46 companies that given the government money for the vaccines. So why can't you figure it out? It's not to say like if it is the just delinquent, like the person to give you the check didn't come to work today or they on leave for a month or they're just not showing up, like the police to a court case. That is not the situation. You know what going on. You know what going on. If it is everybody dead, who went and go to the school anyway? That real, I ain't gonna lie, that you eating, that real steamer battery. And on top of that, what is the studying to do is raise the student fees so that it would now account for 40%. Now remember, I am a tertiary dropout, so if it is accounting for 20% now, and they want it to account for 40%, doesn't that mean that they're going to double the children fees? So you telling me a collective entity of intellects can't come up with a way to function on 20% less money? That is what you're telling me. Alright. Well, based on that statement alone, I want to sign up for UE now. I need to get my shit together and get in there and get some of what they're sharing out, because clearly it's going to make me ready for the new world. So, the last story that this one wilt my lettuce. The last story steamer battery, but this one wilt my lettuce. Because I cannot understand, right? Tell you I like my vegetables. I cannot understand, and I never could understand the point of stopping your life or stopping living to stay alive. I get the seduction of it, but it don't make no sense. What is the point in you staying alive if it is you can't live? So all the governments now, clocking like laying hens. Easter is coming, Easter is coming. It's not even as sexy as like in Game of Thrones with winter is coming. Right? They just clock, 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 clock. So yes, Easter is coming, and this happens like every year, right? And you don't want anybody go outside because Corona outside. No, darling. No, 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 no. There's more than a year we going on with this shit. I celebrate my first Corona birthday last year and the next one coming up just now. No, darling. No, no, no. You take away carnival and all of that. Every 2 minutes you're wasting police resources instead of finding missing people. Or maybe they could have saved the girl that all they claimed that Elias was sexually grooming if it is they wasn't shutting down a zest. You need to start to give the people what they want. At the end of the day, we're getting back a spike in the infections coming from the Chaguanas Central area. It is more of their culture to be social. Anytime one move in, all move together. Like a hana fig, a grappa coconut, you don't see one. Give the people some kind of a release as to what they want. Let it be controlled, let it be tempered. For crying out loud, the government owns a media station. Take Easter virtual, do the kite flying, I don't know. Come up with something. Give the people something. Every single community have a park and a recreation ground that all they must be thief how much money to build. Organize something with your social distancing, with your sanitization, with your well, I say sanitization and social distancing. That is it. Well, with your mask and thing, I suppose. With all the bells and whistles that Corona demands. But try something. But again, if you're 71 years old, you come from the time when it had an authority figure. And when it is the authority figure say jump, you say how high. That shit don't fly anymore. You better tell me why if you want me to jump. And if it is you use force to get me to jump, bet your ass force gonna come back on you as soon as I find a way. So, life is full of potential, full of energy. But for reasons that I don't understand as yet, I ambitiously said as yet, the default setting on life seems to be negative. If it is you sit and do nothing, bad things will happen to you. Therefore, it's negative. One could argue that good things could happen to you too, but really and truly, just think about it. So it makes no sense to me staying alive without living, sacrificing your present for a future that you may not have. I'm not saying to be frivolous and not plan for the future, but I am saying let the past help make your present and your future better. And also, do not sacrifice or gamble away the present for the future. Plan for the future. Put things in place for the future. Think about the future. Bring it into reality. But don't gamble the present for the future. Because if you have no memories at the end of the day as to what got you through that day, by the end of the week you feel like shit. If you don't have a reason to get up in the morning, eventually you don't want to wake up. And those reasons, those rationale, are from the little pockets of joy. It's from living life. So, this is the end of Richard Rants for this edition. I do thank you again. I just can't thank you all enough for listening. It is so humbling to me. I thank you sincerely. And as usual, subscribe to the vibe, comment towards our betterment. Vibes.